And Your Honor saw the horrific photos from the medical examiner of what she did to that child and how his back looked, both externally and internally.
Saint-Nazaire was convicted for the first-degree murder of the 4-year-old, who Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said was thrown into a pool captured on video.
This mother has been sentenced to life in prison because she ended up beating her 4-year-old adopted son to death. If you didn't want him, you could have just said something.
As we speak, this Polk County mother is in jail in a cell, accused of beating her 4-year-old son to death. We want to warn you the details in this case are disturbing, and it has a local neighborhood in shock tonight. Investigators released videos to us, which we are choosing not to show. They show what deputies say was a pattern of extensive abuse.
10 Tampa Bay's Chris Hurst spent the last few hours scouring the area and knocking on neighbors' doors to piece together what led up to this.
Tonight, Patricia Boyer-Santazaire is here at the county jail in Bartow facing charges of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and witness tampering. All this after she took little Brian Boyer to a hospital 1 week ago. And soon after, deputies got a call that something was horribly wrong.
What we've learned during this investigation just turns our stomach.
Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said Saint-Nazaire adopted the 4-year-old from Haiti and brought him to Florida last year. Last week, she brought him first to this hospital in Haines City after he was weak and shaking uncontrollably. He was flown to another hospital where he died the next day. The medical examiner saw injuries consistent with abuse, including damaged internal organs.
As the autopsy went on, they found different layers of bruises and injuries from past beatings.
At first, Saint-Nazaire denied ever hitting the child, but as investigators kept digging, they found 2 videos on her phone. We've chosen not to show the videos because they show child abuse. One shows her throwing Brian into a pool with his hands tied. Another shows her beating him while he's on the ground.
They did the right thing. They truly did the right thing, because there is no way you adopt a little boy from Haiti. And I don't know if it was your sick dream to torture this child, but you are the worst type of human being alive. This is crazy, y'all. Let's keep going into this.
And he's not even resisting it. It's just like it's a normal occurrence.
The mother and her adopted son lived in this home in Davenport with another adopted teenage son and her husband. Little Brian was in pre-K at Lothman Oaks Elementary, where counselors have been assisting staff and student families.
And despite his abusive treatment, they said he was a happy child.
Saint-Nazaire made her first court appearance this afternoon, but she didn't have a lawyer present, so the court continued the case. But she may be back in court as early as tomorrow. Tonight, the 16-year-old adopted son is in protective custody.
Yeah, because you don't know anything of what happened. That 16-year-old could have been going through the worst of it. I wonder how long he was actually in their care. Because if it was just as long as that, as the 4-year-old, or since he was 4, that's a crazy thing to think about. But let's get over into this next video where she is being sentenced to life in prison. Now, a question, should it have been the death penalty? Let's get over into it.
The Polk County woman who was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole today for abusing and killing her 4-year-old adopted son back in 2024. UCLA's Grant Palmer joins us live from the Polk County Courthouse with more on this case. Grant.
Josh, it was a pretty empty courtroom today. No family members were present and no impact statements were made. It took the judge less than 15 minutes to sentence Patricia Saint-Nazaire to life in prison.
State attorneys Friday describing the physical abuse that 4-year-old Brian Boyer suffered at the hands of his adopted mother, Patricia Saint-Nazaire.
And Your Honor saw the horrific photos from the medical examiner of what she did to that child and how his back looked, both externally and internally.
Saint-Nazaire was convicted for the first-degree murder of the 4-year-old, who Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said was thrown into a pool captured on video.
We have a video clip of where that 3-year-old baby's hands was tied behind his back, and she threw him in a swimming pool.
Investigators say Saint-Nazaire immigrated with the child from Haiti and add the boy was only under her care for a little over a year. The judge Friday gave her the chance to atone for her actions.
In the sense there, you're not required to say anything, but if you would like to say anything, now is your opportunity. You do not wish to say anything?
No.
We weren't able to speak with any attorneys after the sentencing, but were sent a statement from State Attorney Brian Haas, who said in part, quote, "The jury made the right decision in convicting Patricia Saint-Hilaire of first-degree murder. The life sentence was justified. While we know we cannot bring back Brian, at least the defendant will spend the rest of her life in prison and never be able to hurt another child."
That is one of the saddest things I've heard in a long time. Now, so she immigrated with the child to Haiti. Why torture him to death? And then you record it on your phone. You are the worst type of human being. Let's keep going into this and see what else it tells us.
Saint-Hilaire was also found guilty of 2 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of child abuse. Reporting live at the Polk County Courthouse, Grant.
It's a tragic situation, y'all. Let's get over into the AI breakdown just to see what else we can learn from this situation. All right, so on August 14th, Patricia was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in a Polk County courtroom for first-degree murder of her 4-year-old adopted son, Brian. So the jury previously found her guilty on July 9th, 2026 of the first-degree murder and child abuse and witness tampering. So along with her life sentence, the judge handed down an additional 65 years for 3 child abuse charges and 12 years for tampering with a witness. The child died on May 1st, 2024 after undergoing emergency surgery for severe trauma caused by ongoing long-term physical abuse. So state investigators recovered videos on her phone of her actually beating the child and then throwing him into a swimming pool with his hands tied behind his back. They said that the adopted mother attempted to coerce her 16-year-old son into lying to deputies to cover up the crime, threatening that they would both be dead if she owned a gun. The medical examiner revealed extensive internal and external injuries, including deep lacerations to the child's liver and severe blunt force trauma. They did the right thing. They truly did the right thing. There is no way in my mind that this woman right here should get anything less than life in prison without the possibility of parole. Maybe even the death penalty, because this is crazy. You beat a child so bad and you've only had him for a year. It don't matter how long you had him, but this is crazy. Rest in peace, this young child, 4 years old. I couldn't find... Brian Boer. Rest in peace to 4-year-old Brian Boer. You should have been loved, and it's a tragic situation. Now let me know your thoughts. Do you think that the mother got what she deserved? And I wonder what all the 16-year-old son went through, because this is a crazy thing, and there are so many bad parents in this world. But let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a tragic case, but this is the type of stuff that we have to look at and review together. Absolute tragedy.